There is a quiet truth that lives beneath the surface of human attraction, one that society often whispers about but rarely understands. The magnetic connection between younger women and older men is not a myth, and it's certainly not always about material gain or sugar-coated fantasies. The truth lies much deeper, rooted in emotional psychology, biological instincts, and the psychological triggers of desire that have existed for generations. Younger women are often drawn to older men not because of their wallets, but because of their wisdom, presence, emotional depth, and grounded masculinity. These are traits that younger men may still be in the process of developing. While youth brings energy and adventure, maturity brings stability and emotional intelligence to forces that many women, especially those who are emotionally aware, naturally seek. In a world where emotional availability is rare and consistency is a superpower, older men offer something invaluable: peace. This peace doesn't come from being passive. It comes from life experience, from having faced failure, heartbreak, and success, and learning who they are through it all. When a younger woman meets a man who doesn't flinch under pressure, who doesn't chase attention, and who knows what he wants, it triggers a deep sense of attraction rooted in biology. Our brains are wired for survival, and subconsciously, women seek out partners who can protect, lead, and provide a sense of emotional safety. Older men exude these traits not because they try to, but because they've lived them. They often understand the emotional language that many younger men haven't yet learned to speak. They don't just talk, they listen. They don't guess, they observe. And most importantly, they value emotional connection over fleeting pleasure. This makes them incredibly attractive in ways that most people underestimate. Another powerful psychological factor is emotional maturity. Younger women who are emotionally intelligent themselves often find it difficult to connect with men who are still navigating their own identity or maturity. They crave depth over drama, communication over confusion, and passion with purpose, not games. Older men, shaped by years of growth, tend to be more patient and better at handling emotional nuances. They don't explode during arguments. They understand how to resolve conflict without ego. They can love without needing to dominate, and they can lead without needing to control. This maturity is incredibly attractive to women who have either been hurt before or who are emotionally evolved enough to know that real love is built on emotional intelligence, not emotional chaos. Psychology also reveals that attraction is driven by polarity, the natural magnetic pull between masculine and feminine energy. It flourishes in the presence of grounded, focused, mature masculine energy. Older men who are confident without arrogance, protective without being possessive, and emotionally stable without being cold activate this polarity naturally. They bring balance to a dynamic that feels electric, not forced. The younger woman doesn't feel like she has to lead the relationship. She can relax into her feminine essence, feeling safe, desired, and understood. This creates a kind of connection that's deeply rooted in their body and the mind, an emotional and psychological dance that's hard to fake and even harder to find. And contrary to common stereotypes, younger women are not always seeking financial support or stability. Many are independent, successful, and capable. What they often seek in older men is not money, but meaning, emotional security, wisdom, clarity, a sense of purpose. They want to feel seen, heard, and valued beyond their appearance. Older men who are present, who make them feel beautiful for who they are, and who understand their emotional world are rare. When they find one, they don't want to let him go. Because the truth is, in a sea of fast hookups and shallow compliments, emotional depth is the new currency of attraction. Another psychological trigger is consistency. Older men who have their lives in order tend to offer consistency in their words. actions, and emotions. They don't ghost. They don't flake. They don't run at the first sign of emotional intensity. Instead, they stay. They talk. They hold space. This consistency creates trust, and trust is the foundation of attraction. When a younger woman feels she can rely on someone, truly rely on him, her guard drops. Her heart opens, and the bond deepens. She no longer feels like she's being judged or tested. She feels like she's being loved for who she is, not what she pretends to be. Let's not ignore the evolutionary psychology at play here. Hypergamy, the natural female instinct to seek out a mate who is more established, secure, and capable, plays a subtle yet powerful role. This isn't manipulation, it's biology. Women are evolutionarily wired to choose partners who increase their odds of emotional, physical, and social survival. Older men often represent strength, wisdom, and long-term value in ways younger men have yet to develop. When a younger woman sees a man who has his life together, who isn't lost, confused, or afraid to commit, it activates a part of her mind that says, "This man can lead me, grow with me, and protect me." There's also the presence factor. Older men are less likely to be distracted by ego, games, or social media dopamine hits. When they sit across from a woman, they're present. They look into her eyes. They listen without interrupting. They respond with thoughtful words, not reactive impulses. This presence makes a woman feel valued and emotionally safe. And safety is a precursor to emotional intimacy. In fact, psychologists have found that emotional presence is one of the top predictors of relationship satisfaction for women. When she feels heard, she feels loved. When she feels safe, she becomes emotionally and physically open. This is where the deeper bond is born. Another truth older men tend to understand: sensuality in a way that younger men don't. They know that attraction isn't just about physical touch, but about emotional connection, mental stimulation, and spiritual alignment. They understand that slow is seductive, that foreplay begins with words, and that intimacy is built throughout the day, not just in their bedroom. This level of awareness creates a fuller, richer, more satisfying emotional and physical relationship. It's no wonder why many younger women report more fulfilling connections with older partners. They simply feel more deeply understood and emotionally nourished. For younger women who've been through toxic relationships, the calm strength of an older man feels like emotional oxygen. It feels like freedom, and it makes sense. Emotional trauma teaches women to crave safety, consistency, and emotional wisdom. When they meet someone who reflects those qualities naturally, the attraction is instant. Not because he's older, but because he's emotionally safe. And that safety becomes intoxicating in the best way. The truth is, age is just a number, but energy is everything. Older men who carry strong masculine energy, who are emotionally available, and who live with purpose, naturally stand out in today's distracted, disoriented dating culture. Younger women who seek emotional resonance, spiritual connection, and relational depth find their match in these men not because of the gap in age, but because of the alignment in values. In a society that glorifies temporary pleasure, real emotional presence becomes a rare gem, and younger women who are emotionally awake know how to spot it. So next time someone questions why she's with a man 10, 15, or even 20 years older, remember, it's not about the number on his birth certificate. It's about the way he makes her feel seen, safe, desired, and deeply understood. That kind of connection is timeless. And psychology doesn't just explain it, it celebrates it.